Hello, welcome back to Fashion Voices, a show that brings together the hearts and minds of the industry's greats for an unfiltered discussion on a new topic each week. This week's show is a special edition made in collaboration with our friends at Nataal Media. We are talking about black style icons with two fantastic guests. Joining us from New York, we have the musician and visual artist Oyinda, best known for her unique sci-fi meets soul sound and immersive music videos. Oyinda has an impressive side hustle as a model, collaborator, and muse for future-facing fashion houses. Our second guest on the panel is the collector, designer, and street style legend, Ellie. A much-loved figure on the Fashion Week circuit, Michelle is best known for her vast collection of Comme des Garçons pieces, wearable art that she brings to life on the streets of Paris and New York. Guys, hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Yeah, really, really good.
Thank you for joining me today. Let's jump right in. What do we mean when we say black style?
To me, what black style is not is streetwear. Like whenever I'm on set, at least, the assumption is always to push for streetwear, which I think there is a part of black style that does have leisure to it and ease, but I don't think that's necessarily streetwear. I think that's just how effortless black style can be. Black style has always been the focal point of what's pushed forward. I feel like it's a beginning of what's bubbling in culture. And I think a lot of the times black style has helped bring warmth and heritage to the archives of fashion.
Yeah. Michelle, what does black style mean to you?
We can talk about a lot of things besides being bold, exaggerate, electrify, rule breakers, because we tend to break rules all the time. We tend to be very playful. We tend to be very experimental. I think black style has a lot to do with like the joy of dressing up, the joy of self-expression. Color plays a very important part in black style.
Yeah. Oyinda, do you force yourself to not wear black? Like I have to force myself to not be in navy.
I used to try, but mainly because my mum always feels a way about me wearing. Like, she thinks I'm not Nigerian enough because I don't wear enough color. She's just like, too much black. And I'm like, sorry.
The whole thing of black style is so vast and so beyond. And if we go into Africa, it's another incredible style, which is quite diverse. We can talk for hours about black style.
I hope so.
Finish.
So I just wanted to talk to you about your personal style icons growing up. Mine was Bob Marley when he moved to London and worked in West London wearing really great football clothes from the late 70s. Who are or were your style icons?
I grew up listening to a lot of jazz. So jazz is really a significant part of my everyday life. Billie Holiday was one of them. And then you had during the Harlem Renaissance, so you had Josephine Baker in the 1920s, who started in Paris and then went out and became this incredible phenomenon. She was free with her body, and then she was an activist at the same time. And she created a trend. She was wearing the banana skirt way before miniskirt was even started. And that's really, really significant. Grace Jones, when she started, the fact that she was very expressive with her body, and she was extremist, which I love, eccentric, which I love. So I like all these women or men who has a signature.
Oyinda, tell me, who were your black style icons when you were a youngster, a nipper?
Growing up, predominantly, it's like white imagery that I was seeing. So I felt like I had to seek a lot of black style icons that I could connect with myself, forming my own connections. That naturally happened with music. I love a statement moment, and I felt like Aaliyah always had one, Missy always had one, like when you're looking at the Super Duper Fly, big bubble suit, so many moments within Missy videos, like music videos were where I really found my icons, Andre 3000, and even Grace actually, because I really was drawn to her androgyny. So many moments within her career that are so universally important, like we wouldn't have the grandness of Gaga without Grace.
Totally. I love Grace Jones so much. She never leans out. She always leans in.
And her makeup and her presentation, this expression of freedom of her sexuality was so phenomenal.
And then in terms of present day, what are the good platforms and outlets now?
I'm following a lot of Instagram that has a lot of history of Black culture. African News is one of them that I get a lot, which is not only just fashion, but it's also art and culture, hair. Vantage is one of the Instagram platform. Nataal is one of them now, who has also artists, photographers promoting Black culture.
One that I love on Instagram too is Vintage Black Glamour, and that just archives so much history. There's so much that may not be your generation, but at least you can tap into how we got here and who we should appreciate and give homage to, because it wouldn't be as easy for us without our predecessors and the people who have paved the way for us.
Michelle, you've been involved in the fashion industry as a model and as a collector. Can you tell us about some of the most iconic moments you were witness to during your career?
I had the opportunity to model for Zulibet. And this is a Black designer in the 90s making incredible movement. And we took over Jean-Paul Gaultier's show. And he only used Black models. And we all dressed in white. We carry our, boombox with our own music. And that was such an iconic moment for me in the industry that I can never forget this, because he gave me my opportunity going to Paris for what I was looking for. So that's really, really significant for me.
It's a great story, but what's something that really stood out for me is you saying mostly Black girls, which is just almost completely unheard of even now. That's what we need. Mostly Black girls in the show, please.
Yeah, and that was really for his time. You were not just one Black girl in every show. All the girls were Black. And that was phenomenal.
Oyinda, as a modern day model, muse and collaborator, what have been iconic moments that you've seen?
I feel like every Telfar show that I've been blessed to be a part of has been an iconic shift in fashion. I think the first show I did with Telfar was the Circle show where Dev, Lou, Kalela, we were all singing hymnal in honor of Telfar. And the audience was in a circle. It wasn't even a runway. That moment for me felt like a true shift in fashion, where shows didn't have to be a full runway necessarily. It didn't have to follow the same kind of form.
So in our new segment, I've invited each panelist to bring a picture of themselves at a time of great personal style. Oyinda, tell me about your picture.
This Issey Miyake look, it's actually separate. So there's a top and a skirt, and it just looks like a whole piece. I love to get sets like that where you can mix and match, and even though it's a statement, you can kind of recreate it however you want. And then I was wearing my pattern tabbies with them, because I love a tabby moment. And then I had a burgundy, actually it's oxblood. So it's an oxblood Telfar bag, because if it's not Black, it's oxblood for me.
Burgundy is somewhere in the past. It's all about the oxblood.
Truly. Even AOC was wearing it.
The oxblood one?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, oh, you take a name.
Michelle, tell me what you're wearing in your picture.
Every piece you see in that look, I've acquired through a travel. So I bought the blue flippers in the Berlin flea market. The yellow socks, I bought it through Mallorca because my son was in a football team, so I had to buy him football socks. But I love the color so much, so I bought it because I thought I would find a way to style it. The legging was bought in Milan during Fashion Week. There was this Chinese stands, and they had these really odd leggings there. I thought, wow, the aesthetic of these leggings is so phenomenal. The hair, I bought at Patricia Field because I think you couldn't create that look with just natural hair. The top is actually Walter van Berenda. This is a bicycle suit, actually. The coat is actually an art piece, and it's from an artist called Elie Winkler. And this was an advertising for a company that had a rental trucks, and they had to close down. So the artist took the piece from the truck. But it almost ties to exactly what I like to dress, because I think it shows that I'm quite eclectic. I like to collect things, collect stories, and create a piece. And somehow I've maybe been collecting them for years, and then they come together in perfect harmony.
It's totally iconic. And what a story. So I want to talk about the unsung heroes of Black fashion. Who in your mind has slipped under the radar? Oyinda.
A lot of people weirdly don't know of Deborah Shaw, because I think people focus on the names like Naomi like her career is full of longevity and she's still working today, like whether you see her in Mugler or the cover of Days. Deborah is someone I would have missed without someone like Campbell bringing her back to the forefront of a cover, then going into her history and then actually really looking and being like, wow, she's been around, she's been like paving the way for us. And I feel like I just want to shout out people like her because, you know, our careers wouldn't be the same without them.
I just also wanted to ask about like future icons. Who do you think will be our icons of the future?
That's a very tough question to answer because I really think...
Because I'm right here. Is this
yes! We have three in front of us. For me, an icon is somebody who's not only used their platform to express their creative fields or express themselves, but they need to also to give back to society. They become the vehicle to open up doors for so many other people. It's just not enough to be well dressed because that fades, I think, you know, character, personality. It's so much more credible. And you will see as you get older and aging, what stays behind. It's not the clothes. It's really your mind and your character.
Guys, that is a wonderful way to wrap up. We've pretty much run out of time. So I want to thank you both so much for joining me today.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting us.
Bye.
Bye. Nice meeting you.
Bye.
If you've liked what you've seen, please subscribe to the Farfetch YouTube channel and leave a comment in the box below.